Threats.
Mr. Cant, Mr. Cant.
Don't push your luck with me.
Anger.
Don't, sir, don't.
Desperation.
Can I just speak to one of my family members if they can help me out?
What happens when debt
I know my rights. Do not touch me again.
tracks you down?
I'm not even paying a penny of it.
Up and down the UK,
Oh, you can't take my, don't be taking my equipment.
we see Britain's most resilient High Court enforcement agents,
Can't believe that's been Lee.
dealing with every debtor's worst nightmare.
Today is actually my birthday.
Because if you can't pay,
There's absolutely nothing I can do after.
they'll take it away. Research from a leading debt charity has revealed that Londoners are more likely to be in debt than anyone else in the UK. Burdened by low wages and high living costs, Londoners owe an average of over £12,000. High Court enforcement agents Paul Bohill and Max Caraher are in Colindale, North London, with a writ to collect over £1,800 owed in unpaid parking fines.
Right, Paul, we are looking to collect £1,837.69.
The case began when the debtor moved into her flat 12 months ago and failed to obtain a permit to park outside the block.
They'll be all allocated spaces, won't they?
The debtor began receiving multiple parking tickets, but didn't pay them. So the parking company escalated the case to the High Court, and now she must pay in full today.
Hello?
Hello, Fattier.
Hi, who is this?
High Court enforcement agents here.
Do you want to come up?
Thank you. Hello, miss. Sorry to bother you. Here to see Fattier. Is that yourself? Hello, miss. Right. My name's Max Caraher. My colleague Paul Bohill. We've been sent round. Would you like us to discuss it so your neighbours can't hear anything?
You know what? It's just I have to be at work at 11 o'clock, that's why.
The reason we've been sent round is because we've got a High Court writ for you.
Okay.
It's in regards to your vehicle's parking.
I did actually try to phone them today.
There's an outstanding balance of £1,837.69. You do know about this?
I've got the letter. As I said to you today, I was speaking to them, but there was no answer. Is there any other way you can come back to me and then we can discuss and talk about it? Because I'm just going to ask you at work.
This matter's been going on. The date of the CCJ on this was the 17th of the 11th, 2016.
I've got a disability child, but he can walk. So as long as he can walk, you're not entitled to a disability. But
Yeah.
sorry,
Okay.
I've been going through this
So
for so long.
take a deep. I'll tell you what, miss. You sit down, take a deep breath, and we'll speak.
It appears that Fatia had been waiting for a special parking permit, but her application was turned down.
He says, I don't get you live here, and they're asking you not to park
Sure.
outside your house.
Despite Fatia's dispute with the parking company, the agents are duty-bound to collect the £1,800 they came for.
Can you pay anything of this, please?
What do you need? Can I give you £50 at the moment? And
No,
then you can
not
come back.
no. We need to collect on the 1,830.
Can I just speak to one of my family members
Yeah,
if they
sure.
can help me out?
That's no problem at all. Absolutely no problem. Take a deep breath. It's all right. Who are you going to phone, madam?
I'm trying to find out a friend,
Yeah.
and my brother's at work.
Is
I'm
he?
trying to ask somebody to help me. Exactly how much can I pay today? Because
We
it's
need
not-
to collect the full balance, which is £1,837.
Well, just give me a minute.
Yeah, no problem.
Listen, enforcement, I need your help.
When I see that a defendant is becoming emotional and they have been very genuine with me, I don't like seeing it. There are occasions where I do feel sorry for people. This could be the worst day for them, and if I can remain as professional as possible, then that's a job well done.
30 minutes later, Fatia's brother arrives.
Hello, sir. Hello. My name's Max, my colleague Paul.
I've already said I'm going to make the payment, but they want their money right now.
The reason we're here is because we've got a High Court writ for your sister.
It all seems to be going smoothly, but then a friend arrives.
Hello.
and he wants answers.
Hello, sir. We've got a High Court writ.
I don't care. You need to step out.
We're not going to be stepping
Yeah,
outside.
you haven't been invited in.
We don't have
You
to be
what?
hired in.
No, do you have
I've
to
got a
be
High Court writ.
I don't care what you've got.
Okay, sir, don't shout. I've got a High Court writ.
No, I am because you're intimidating.
Look, I'm not
Get
intimidating.
out. Get out.
Everything's
And then we'll
not
talk.
going to get out.
Listen. Sorry, I didn't actually call him. So
Okay, that's we'll get the police who will do the removal. Have a word.
He hasn't been invited in. You need to get out of this house. Do
We
you
won't
have
be
a
leaving.
warrant to be in here?
I have a High Court writ to be in here.
You have a writ? Is
Yes.
that a warrant to be in this
It's a
premises?
writ, yeah. So what we're going to do,
Hang
okay?
on.
No, is that a warrant? I don't care. I'm talking. Who am I talking to? Is dealing with me? Is it you or is it him?
Speak to both of
No,
us.
I can deal with one of you.
Okay.
There's only one of you.
Okay.
You don't have the right to take anything from these people.
okay.
She's crying. How does it feel? How does it make you feel? You feel big.
Right, I did nothing to make her cry.
This simple case has taken an ugly turn.
I've treated her with nothing but respect.
No, but you're in her house without
Absolutely.
permission.
With permission.
With the man in direct conflict with Max, it will take all the agent's skills to stop his hostility spiraling out of control. Paul Bowhill and Max Caraher were in Colindale, North London, to recover a debt of over £1,800 owed in unpaid parking tickets.
Is there any other way you can come back to me and then we can discuss and talk about it?
Fatia claimed she couldn't get a special permit to park outside her block.
I've got a disability child, but he can walk. So as long as he can walk, you're not entitled to a disability. But
Yeah.
sorry,
Okay.
I've been going through this
So
for so long.
take a deep breath.
And could only afford to repay a fraction of what she owed.
Can I give you £50 at the moment, and then you can come back?
We need to collect on the 1,800.
Can I just speak to one of my family members
Yeah,
if they can
sure.
help me out?
But when a friend arrived, things turned nasty.
She's crying. How does it feel? How does it make you feel? You feel big.
Now, the agents need to make their authority clear and get this case resolved for good.
If you're instructing an enforcement agent, then the police have to come.
Let them come.
Max calls the police.
Hello, we're enforcement agents enforcing a High Court writ and we're being obstructed. Could we have some units of 10,
He
please?
doesn't have anything on it.
With an enforcement action, we experience a complete range of emotions. All of these things are just grist to the mill. It's all standard reactions. So we just stay there, stand and listen to it until they run out of breath, till it fades away, and then we'll just return to the original conversation.
The police are on their way, and with Fatia's sister now here to keep the peace, Paul tries to get the case back on track.
Listen, can I intervene? His attitude is going to do nothing to help this situation. What we need is payment of this, and we need to discuss how that's going to be paid.
Yeah. Listen, he's just upset, but please,
Okay.
can we sort this out?
You need to give us the figure that you can pay. We will then contact the office.
That's why
Put it to the client.
we're gonna pay you whatever we can. We can't afford to
Okay.
pay 1,800.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. If you
That's
listen
what
to me
I'm
for a
trying to say to you.
second, we have to take the full balance.
I can pay £500 today,
Okay. We need a bit more than that.
but that's all I have. I just told you. I swear to you, if I had that kind of money today, the day I got the letter, I would have paid it. I hate problems.
Yeah.
Paul has to make it clear that Fatia's £500 offer won't be accepted by the claimant.
Together. If we were to say they'll accept £1,000, are you able to make that happen?
And then the rest.
And the rest can be paid £100 a month.
But I don't have anything else. Nobody
Okay.
can just afford to give you money. They've been giving us a ticket like a week, twice maybe, or 3 times.
So there are more tickets in the pipeline then?
Yeah, but how am I supposed to pay that when I'm trying to feed my kids and pay the bill? I don't know what to do.
It seems Fatia can't get close to the £1,000 Paul has asked for. Finally, the police arrive.
I told him I've got to work.
Sure.
And they didn't listen. I told him to come back later. I didn't do anything.
But no, we're not saying you have, but at the end of the day, they're here to do a job, just let them do it.
With the police present, Fatia's brother takes Max aside.
Outside.
You're right with 7. I'll make a call for you.
The offer is less than the £1,000 Paul asked for, but it seems it's the best the family can do. Max calls the office.
We need kind of a quick decision on that. Right, the bloke's offered 700. Okay.
Yeah, the client is happy to accept that payment offer.
Brilliant. Just confirm that's 700 and then 100 a month.
£100 a month, yes.
Madam, I know how this has been an uphill battle and very stressful. It has been accepted for the 700. Just check the amount, put your pin in for me, please.
Fatia's brother makes a £700 down payment. And she agrees to pay £100 a month to clear the balance.
We won't delay you any further. We can leave now. Thank you very much. Take care.
The case is resolved for now.
Thank you for your time.
But it'll be another year until Fatia is free of this debt.
That aggravation there went from 0 to 10 in a matter of seconds. Nothing was going to stop him talking.
Yeah, I fully agree with you.
A recent survey has revealed that self-employed workers in the UK are increasingly struggling with late invoice payments. On average, they're owed nearly £5,500, and more than a third have either asked family for help or sought a payday loan to cover the shortfall. High Court enforcement agents Stuart McCracken and Elmore Victor are in Accrington, Lancashire. They're hoping to recover a debt of over £2,200 owed to a shipping company by scrapyard owner Mr. Mumtaz Khan.
What do you know?
I do know he's not playing ball with us.
Right.
This is not the first time the agents have tried to enforce this writ. Last time they were here, the yard was locked up, and Mr. Khan was nowhere to be seen.
We've got a locksmith on standby in case we need to force entry.
Oh, well.
Yeah, that's how we roll.
Let's go and have a chat.
Once again, the gate is locked. But this time, the office door is open and leads the agents out into the yard.
Hello? Hiya, mate. We're after Mr. Khan. Yeah.
That's me.
Hi, Mr. Khan. We're High Court enforcement agents, sir. It's regarding an outstanding balance, sir, for £2,266. We're here to collect the balance. If not, we are instructed to remove goods, mate.
I don't have that much money on me.
Well, you need to see what you can do, mate, to try and raise something, because we'll have to remove, like I said, some of the goods in here.
As Mr. Khan says he can't pay, the agents need to look around the yard for assets they could seize. Most of the cars here are of low scrap value, but there are several working vehicles, including an expensive forklift.
Have you got documentation for these vehicles?
They're not mine, they're the only car park centres, the ones that purchased them.
Yeah, but have you got documentation for them?
Not me, they have.
So would you be able to get in contact with the owner of the vehicle so we can supply us with the receipt?
Yeah, sure.
So are you able to do that now?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
The forklift?
Forklift truck as well.
Just whatever it is.
Yeah.
As Mr. Khan heads inside to make some calls, Stuart follows him to look for any other assets that might be on the premises. But Mr. Khan has other ideas.
Don't be touching me, sir.
No.
Don't be touching me.
No, I'm not.
Get your hands off
Sir,
me now.
excuse me.
Well, you're not going in the office.
We will.
Why not?
No.
Yes, we are, sir.
We've got a writ of control here,
Got
sir.
rate control.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want
don't
your
touch me
copy?
again.
You want your copy?
No.
Mr. Khan?
Touch you.
There.
Yeah, we'll move right away then,
Mr.
sir.
Khan,
Yeah.
this document, that gives us the right to go in the office as well, sir.
And check what?
Well,
Whatever we
documents,
need to
sir.
see, sir.
No, you
anything
don't have to fucking check nothing.
There's assets in there.
No.
There's assets in there. There's assets in there. Mr. Khan, Mr. Khan.
Do, man,
Don't push
okay?
me.
All right?
Don't push
I
me.
don't give a fuck who you are. I said,
Yeah.
just don't push your luck with me.
At the end of the day, sir, you ain't going to stop me doing my job.
You all right?
Whether you
Mr.
like it or
Khan,
not, sir.
you need to
You
relax.
understand?
Mr. Khan.
Stay there.
Most people become aggressive purely down to shock. They're embarrassed, they've known about it, they've tried to hide away from it, but they've got to realise that once we turn up at that address, we're not leaving until that writ has been executed to its full force.
With the agents shut out of the office, Vic tries to reason with Mr. Khan.
So at the end of the day, it is a writ of control, and you need to understand we have the right to go into that office. Look, I'll show you on the document.
What is
here.
it that you want from the office? Go on, what is it? I mean,
We need to look at, look, sir.
Yeah.
First of all,
Yeah.
we want to get payment.
Yeah, I understand what you're
Right?
trying to get
we,
payment.
we want to get payment, right?
Just stay there, buddy.
No, I'll leave the door open.
What can you pay today, sir?
I swear to God, I cannot make any payment. I just don't have the money.
So we're going to have to take control of goods, so...
I'll give you my bank details online. I'm telling you, I'm overdrawn and I'm already stuck there.
I understand that, but you can understand they obviously don't want to wait anymore.
Yeah.
That's why they've gone through the High Court.
I don't have a choice, have I? I don't have a choice. I've got so many people, you know, asking for money.
It seems that Mr. Khan's business has fallen on hard times. But the agents still need to get this case resolved, one way or another.
So the forklift outside, who does that belong to?
That belongs to me.
Is that yours?
Right, okay, I'll ring recovery then.
Whatever you need to do, do it.
Mr. Khan has changed his story. The forklift is his after all, and the agents now have an asset they can seize.
CT54.
Stuart calls the office with an update.
He's got a forklift truck here. This forklift truck, mate, is a weight. All right.
But inside, the prospect of losing his work vehicle suddenly prompts Mr. Khan to start negotiating.
If you give me till tomorrow, all right?
We can't, sir.
And then, you know, £500, £400, I try my best to at least get that much and say, here, mate.
Right, okay, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. And I know you're going to say to me, no ways, but if you can get to 1,000 today, listen to me. No, listen to me.
You know.
I know, but this is a lifeline I'm trying to throw you.
But,
I know, sir.
I don't know who's...
I can tell you now, they won't take less than 1,000.
I'll phone my brother up and say what he says.
Once people open up to you and you win their trust, it makes the job a bit easier, because all of a sudden you've got communications going, and that's what we're there to do. We're there to resolve the matter. And if people don't talk to you, you can't resolve the matter.
15 minutes later, his brother arrives.
Hello.
After talking to him,
Hello.
Mr. Khan makes another offer.
One of my colleagues, all right? She says, I'll lend you 1,000.
Right.
All right.
So you can get £1,000 today. Right. I'm not saying they're going to accept it, all right? But I will make the phone call, okay?
Vic calls the office to see whether the claimant will accept £1,000 today, together with a plan to pay off the balance.
Hi, Tom, you're right, mate. You can get £1,000 cash now, or bank transfer. Just can you run that by the claimant and give me a call back? Okay, bye. Mr. Khan, they're going to phone the claimant now and give me a call back, all right? At the end of the day, it's up to them. I wish it was my choice, but it's not, I'm afraid. If we can see that someone is genuinely trying to raise funds, we will work with that person. We will always try and help someone that is trying to help themselves.
Moments later, the office calls back.
They don't accept it now. Full balance. They're not accepting it often, Mr. Khan. They want the full balance.
I'm just gonna go home.
Mr. Khan? Mr. Khan? How long will it, how far is it? Okay, no, that's fine.
It seems that Mr. Khan has gone to try and raise the rest of the balance. While they wait for him to return, his brother opens up to Vic.
He's my big brother, but obviously the heart bleeds for you, but we've got our own life as well.
Yeah.
If I come here and help him for a couple of months, I'll be in trouble. We're survivors, man, you know.
Yeah.
We're old school survivors.
"20 minutes later, Mr. Khan returns to the yard.
It's one of my mates. He's transferring the money into my account.
Okay. So someone's going to transfer money into your account now, and you'll pay us on the machine. Yeah, that's fine.
Mr. Khan has managed to raise the £2,266 he owes, and he pays off the debt in full.
Right, that is the end of the matter. All the best for the future, yeah?
The agent's perseverance has paid off.
Lunch is on you, innit, Vic? Whoever gets it paid is the one who gets lunch.
Stuart and Vic got a result against the odds. But in Steve and Ben's next case...
So what's going to happen now?
You have 1 hour to pack your belongings and leave the property.
A simple eviction.
Madam, you do realise your time is running out?
I'm explaining stuff.
Okay,
You're not listening.
Turns into an alarming standoff.
Madam, I can hear that there's a child in there and the child is clearly distressed.
You don't have the correct papers.
Stop crying.
Evictions by private landlords remain the single biggest cause of homelessness in England. In 2016, nearly 20,000 households became homeless after being evicted from privately rented properties. (9 a.m). High Court enforcement agent Steve Pinner and son Ben are in Bayswater, West London, to carry out an eviction.
Nice pretty square.
Tenant Cynthia Fubang Chia had been renting a flat with her daughter for 6 years. But when her tenancy came to an end, she refused to leave.
There is no costs on this order, it's purely an eviction.
Ms. Chia repeatedly ignored eviction notices from the county court, and after months of trying to make her leave, the landlord escalated the case to the High Court.
This is a parking space.
Well, this is us sorted.
But this eviction will be far from straightforward.
No one's in at the inn. Ah, sir, good morning. Sorry to have disturbed you. We're trying to get into flat 7.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Madam, can you open the door, please? My name is Ben, High Court Enforcement. We're here to evict you.
Are you serious?
Absolutely.
Can you call the court, please? I'm appealing this decision.
It's been transferred to the High Court, and the High Court eviction order has been issued.
So what's going to happen now?
You have 1 hour to pack your belongings and leave the property.
Can you come in, please?
Absolutely.
Ms. Chia claims she's in the process of appealing the court's decision, and the agent's visit has clearly come as a shock.
They didn't send me a letter.
They've sent you numerous letters.
And the claimant is still receiving payment.
He's entitled for you to pay him rent.
Yeah, but he's receiving full pay. So how can he then do?
Of course he can, because the court has ordered you to leave and you failed to leave.
He hasn't. Oh my God, this is not fair. Can you wait outside and let me do what I can do, please? Because I'm just confused.
A lot of the properties we go to for repossessions are challenges because the people in the properties think that, you know, why are you evicting us? This shouldn't be right. You can't do this. Obviously, the process that has gone through enables us to do it, but they're just in denial.
Ms. Chia has only an hour to pack her essentials and leave, but instead she's on the phone to the courts.
What can I do in this situation?
You've got to speak with the enforcement officer.
Madam, you do realise your time is running out?
I'm telling you, I'm explaining stuff.
Okay,
You're not listening.
No, you're not listening to me, madam. I want to really explain to you. At 10 o'clock, you're leaving this property.
Okay, can I? Yeah.
You've got to take your stuff.
With Ms. Chia not cooperating, Steve changes tactics.
I'm going to call the police and ask them to come. Yes, I'm a High Court enforcement agent. And I'd like an officer to attend a property to explain the authority that we have in a repossession order.
Okay, I will try and get somebody out to you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, police officers are on their way now.
I haven't committed any crime.
You're obstructing me, madam.
I'm not.
You've got to take your stuff.
Can you please just wait?
No.
I'm not locking the door.
Madam, we're not leaving the property. This property is no longer yours.
15 minutes after they were called, the police arrive.
Welcome to the fun house.
Cynthia,
Yeah.
there is no more argument, okay? We'll need to be as quick as you can, please, because otherwise you're going to be obstructing these very nice gentlemen in the lawful execution of their duties, all right?
Yeah.
Cynthia, we need to go.
Yeah. Are you going to lock the door?
I am going to lock the door.
What keys do you have?
With the police present, Ms. Chia finally leaves. She now has 7 days to arrange with her landlord to pick up the rest of her and her daughter's belongings.
All done. Lock the door, please. Let's get out of here.
The eviction appears to be complete. But 5 months later, the case takes an extraordinary turn. And Steve and Max are on their way back to the same flat.
She made an arrangement with the landlord to come back and collect her stuff. And when she got into the flat, she locked the landlord out.
The landlord applied for another repossession order. But before the new writ was issued, Ms. Chia secured a court hearing where the landlord agreed she could stay in the flat for 3 more months to give her time to find somewhere else to live.
Yep, it's there because we parked at the bays there last time.
But the 3-month extension has now expired and Ms. Chia is still there. So the agents are back with another writ to evict her for a second time.
She has got to go. She stayed well beyond her welcome. This job never ceases to amaze me. In my enforcement career, I've never heard of a case where a tenant needs to be evicted from the same domestic property twice, ever. It's locked. Somewhere.
Hello? High Court Enforcement, Miss Chia.
Yeah, what is it?
I'm an enforcement agent with a High Court writ
For what?
to repossess the property. Could you open the door, please?
I'm saying this because I have possession up until the 1st of April.
What's the date today?
He has to make an application.
Today is the 3rd of April.
Cynthia, you going to open the door?
Go away!
Open the door, or I will open the door.
You don't have the correct papers. He's not crying.
Madam, I can hear that there's a child in there and the child is clearly distressed.
Yes,
we definitely don't want to distress the child.
Go away! Go away! Go away! You're not allowed to be here. You don't have a reason.
If you obstruct us, it's a criminal offence, okay?
I'm not obstructing. My daughter is behind the door.
I think it's absolutely unacceptable that as a parent, you would put your daughter in the way of the door, okay?
Concerned for the child's welfare, Max feels he has no alternative but to call the police for assistance.
Hiya. We're enforcement agents. We've got a High Court writ of possession. The defendant is refusing to leave, and we have concerns for the welfare of the child.
Okay, shall we get a unit assigned as soon as possible?
Thanks ever so much for that.
All right.
Bye. Cynthia, can you hear me okay? The police are coming.
Yeah, but why are you calling the police?
Why? Because honestly, I'm concerned for the welfare of your child.
For what welfare?
You told me you put the child in front of the door.
I haven't put she. I said she was standing there. Can you come back tomorrow or something?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
When children are presented in front of us when we're enforcing a writ, their interests come first. A lot of us have children with fathers. The last thing we're going to do is put any of them in danger.
That's the police.
Minutes after they were called, the police arrive.
Hi, thank you for coming.
Cynthia, it's the police. Can you open the door, please?
They didn't listen to me. I went back to the High Court. The High Court just put us back in here.
Okay.
Now they've come. All this writ list, the one they're telling you.
They have a High Court writ to say that you must leave the property
From
today.
where? Can I see
The gentleman's. I don't have the gentleman have it now.
What are you using to evict me? You know you don't have me, and you know you're just trying to because the police.
Listen,
You don't have.
with the greatest respect to you, I can't afford to make a mistake in being here for the wrong reasons. Cynthia, may I speak to you?
You still need a writ. You cannot just come to my door and evict me. Where is your order?
We went back to court and got a writ, okay? This writ gives us immediate effect.
You call the High Court.
No, she needs to go.
I'm right? Officer, they're just trying to have. They know that they don't have the.
I'm sorry, okay? It does appear that they do, okay? So you need to start listening to what these gentlemen. I appreciate it's upsetting and it's not ideal. You need to think about your little girl. This isn't nice for her.
So I should go back to court now. Is that
No,
what
you need to take your belongings and then.
No, I will go back to court because they don't, that's what I'm going to do.
You need to take your belongings
Because they don't have any grounds.
I am here to uphold the peace, okay? And at the minute, You're obstructing these guys from doing their job. Would you like arresting, quite simply?
Yeah. No,
Then
right.
sort your stuff out.
Put your phone down and let's get going.
He's just wrong. How can they evict me for no reason? He doesn't have the
Yes, he does. It's time to leave. We're going now, okay?
Right, okay, let's go. Come on.
Lovely.
Okay.
Thank you.
We done?
With the help of the police, Ms. Chia finally accepts that she and her daughter have to leave.
Thank you very much for your help. I do appreciate it. Take care.
You're out,
You're out, Nana.
Now homeless, it will be up to the council to provide them with emergency accommodation.
Well, that's us done anyway. Thank goodness for that. That is secure.
2 visits and 2 police call-outs later, the case is finally resolved.
Do you think that's the end of the matter?
Oh, I do hope so. I couldn't take another one of those. People are just unreasonable and unbelievable, aren't they?
Yeah.
Research has shown that over 70% of small business owners in the UK feel that cash flow poses the biggest risk to their livelihoods. Cash flow problems affect 4 in 10 small businesses, and nearly a third struggle to meet debt repayments as a direct result. High Court Enforcement Agent Stuart McCracken and Elmore Victor are in Birkenhead, Merseyside. They have a writ to recover over £35,000 owed by a publishing company to an ex-employee.
Sunshine and Vic. We're at Birkenhead. Where are we going?
We're going to visit this morning on the sunny day the Hannay Partnership Limited.
The claimant took the company to court, alleging he was unfairly dismissed.
The door's open.
He won the case and was awarded compensation.
Looks like an intercom entry, mate. Do you want to jump out?
Now, company director Steve Russell must pay the claimant what he owes in full today, or the agents have the right to seize assets to offset the debt.
Hi there, the Hannay Partnership Limited. Thank you. Morning.
Oh, are you okay?
Is it Mr. Steve Russell?
Yeah. So we're High Court Enforcement Agents, so we've been sent in regards to an outstanding High Court writ.
Our solicitor did speak to the case manager.
Yeah.
They were trying to resolve it.
Yeah.
It's been transferred to the High Court, sir, so we need payment today.
We'll have to take control of goods.
At the moment, the outstanding balance is 35,000.
Well, I can't raise any money today to make a payment.
We can give you half an hour to see what you can do.
I'm not being held to ransom like that.
No, not being held to ransom.
While the agents wait to see whether Mr. Russell can raise any funds, they start an inventory of goods in the office.
Sorry guys, I won't get you in any photos.
If you want to carry on working, you can carry on working.
What?
If you want to carry on working, you can keep on working.
If you take the stuff today,
Yeah.
I'll put it into liquidation.
Yeah.
So no one's going to win, are they?
That's the last thing we would want to do. We don't want to close you down.
But then Mr. Russell makes a new claim.
So if you look on here, the actual assets, I purchased them for cash.
Yeah.
From the old company.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to be taken really.
So we'd need to see proof of that, sir.
If the goods belong to Mr. Russell personally and not to the company named on the writ, they can't be seized. He shows them a document he thinks proves his claim.
Well, there's no serial numbers there with those Macs, are there? See what I mean? No serial numbers. There's no proof on that document that these goods is what you bought.
The inventory does not prove that Mr. Russell and not the company own the goods, so the agents continue listing assets for removal.
We are never in the position that we want to take control of goods. It's a last option. We're not there to wreck anyone's livelihoods or put the job in threat or cause them any due distress, but the harsh reality of it is if you stick your head in the sand and you don't deal with it, that could be the ultimate cost.
30 minutes has now passed, and Mr. Russell hasn't managed to raise any funds.
Can you just advise the guys that need to switch off the computers and back up the systems?
The agents turn up the pressure and start packing up the seizable assets. But seeing his business under real threat, Mr. Russell calls Vic over. He's decided to make an offer.
Get 10 now.
There now, and then...
Two grand a month.
Can you up to 2 to 2.5?
I can't.
Stuart calls the office to see whether the claimant will accept Mr. Russell's offer.
He says you can do 2. Did you say you can do 2 each month?
Do 2.
But he says he can't do any more. Yeah. Right, okay. Right, cheers, thanks very much, bye-bye.
The offer has been accepted.
How is it you can make that payment?
Transfer across now.
Okay, no problem, I'll give you our bank details now.
Mr. Russell makes a down payment of £10,000.
Thank you very much. Cheers, bye-bye. Yes, in, thank you, Steve.
The agents then list Mr. Russell's assets on a controlled goods agreement.
If you sign that, you'll print your name, you get a copy of that.
Which means the assets can be removed if he defaults on his repayments.
We're all sorted.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. All right, take it easy, all right?
The case is resolved for now. But 10 days later, it's a very different story. Mr. Russell has defaulted on his payments.
You take this, well, attempt to take this stuff today.
Yeah.
That's it.
Of course.
You know you won't get another penny.
High Court enforcement agents Stuart McCracken and Elmore Victor were in Merseyside. They had a writ to recover £35,000 owed by a publishing company to an ex-employee.
We can give you half an hour to see what you can do.
Well, I can't raise any money today to make a payment.
Company director Mr. Russell couldn't pay the balance.
It's just unrealistic, isn't it? I'm not being held to ransom like that.
No, not being held to ransom. You just advise the guys that need to switch off the computers.
But when the agents started to remove assets, Mr. Russell came up with an offer.
Get 10 now.
There now, and then...
Two grand a month.
He agreed to pay £2,000 a month to clear the balance.
We're all sorted.
Yeah.
All right, take it easy, all right?
But a week later, Mr. Russell has defaulted on his first payment of £2,000. And now Stuart and Vic are on their way back to get this case resolved for good.
Let's go. When a defendant doesn't stick to our arrangements or defaults, we are going back with the mentality of it. We're either collect payment or we will be removing goods today. It makes us more determined to get a result. Hello. Hi up, Steve, you alright?
You alright?
You signed a control goods agreement saying you're going to pay £2,000 last Friday.
Yeah.
You've broken that payment plan now.
Yeah, okay.
Hence the reason why we're back.
Right.
So are you able to make £2,000 payments?
I'm not, no. I can't pay you £2,000 today.
But you agreed to pay it for last Friday.
Well, I haven't got it.
But I haven't got a choice. If you're not going to pay, I'm going to have to remove the goods.
Attempt to remove the goods.
Well, no, we won't be attempting. We will be, sir, if the payment isn't made.
You're just putting undue pressure on me.
I'm not putting pressure on you.
But, well, you are.
How am I?
Because you're saying you're going to take our stuff.
Well, yeah.
But as long as you realise, if you take this, or attempt to take this stuff today,
Yeah.
That's it.
Of course.
You know you won't get another penny.
With payment looking unlikely, Stuart calls the office to arrange recovery.
Hi, mate, you alright? He's not willing to make any payments, so we need to ring recovery. It's 12 desks, a couple of iMacs, just basic office equipment.
Because the goods in the office would fetch a fraction of their worth at auction, the agents would have to clear most of it to offset a small part of the £25,000 Mr. Russell still owes. With his business at serious risk, Vic throws him a final lifeline.
Can you pay 1,000 today?
Can't. I've just done the wages.
If you have to revise it, what would a new figure be you've got now? So you're offering £500 today and £500 a month going forward?
Yeah.
Stuart calls the office with an update.
The defendant's offered £500 per month.
Yeah.
So can we find out what the claimant says? If not, then can we get indemnity for removal?
But then Stuart hears some surprising news.
Do you know how long he'll be?
Half an hour tops.
Okay, mate.
Alright.
Speak to you shortly. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. He's on his way. Claimant's on his way now.
Yeah.
Mr. Russell's former employee is on his way to broker a deal in person.
What's the point in him coming here?
Got no idea.
It's an extremely unusual development. Mr. Russell calls his accountant for her advice.
Really don't understand what he's trying to achieve by it. I should resist the temptation to smack him one. Cheers for that. See you in a bit. She's saying be very careful that you're not being set up to punch him, and then he'll do you for that. It's like an incendiary, to be honest with you. It's not going to help the situation.
I mean, I've never been in a situation like this before, but we won't let it get to a violent situation, that I can guarantee you.
While they wait for the claimant to arrive, Mr. Russell opens up to the agents about the case.
He is an ex-employee who we parted company with 12 months ago. There was a disagreement over the terms of him leaving, and spiralled into this.
Were you friends before, Steve?
Yeah.
Like on a personal level?
Yeah.
Before business?
Get match, into concerts and that.
Right. It's sometimes harder to deal with a defendant when the claimant used to be a personal friend. You know, when they know each other, basically. There's obviously personal history, which can make the case more complicated, but it's not going to change what I'm there to do on that day.
10 minutes later, Stuart gets a call from the office.
Hello?
The client just rang me, so I'm here now and left outside the property. So.
Right, no problem. Bye-bye.
But it's not the claimant outside. It seems he's backed out and sent his solicitor instead.
How's it going? You okay?
Yeah, good, thanks. So you came here last Monday?
Yeah.
And obviously the deal was 10, which apparently was paid, plus the
That's right.
2,000 a month.
Yeah.
Client says, well, why can't you stick to the £2,000 a month?
Yeah. Apparently he's stating he can't afford it. So we need to know what the claimant wants us to do.
Okay. So in the absence of 2, he's asking for 1.5.
Yeah. He's offered 500. He says his accountant's not going to let him pay any more than 500 a month.
The solicitor calls the claimant.
Okay, thank you. So you're saying 1,000 today?
Yeah. Yeah.
Stuart heads back upstairs to tell Mr. Russell the news.
Right. He says that if you do 1,000 today, he'll agree 500 a month ongoing. And then we'll leave you to get on with the rest of your day.
Okay then.
Yeah? Okay, no problem. How is it you can make that payment by transfer again? Okay.
It's taken 2 visits, but the agents have finally negotiated a plan that Mr. Russell believes he can stick to.
Yeah, he's accepted that. He'll make that payment. Well, thanks a lot for your time, mate.
Much,
Take it easy. See you later.
Please pay it.
Yeah.
Monthly. I'm sure you're a nice person, but you're going to get tired of our faces after a while.
All right, Steve.
Glad you didn't have to put on the boxing gloves.
No.
See you later,
Steve.
Mr. Russell has been given his final chance, but if he doesn't stick to his promises, the agents won't give up.
At the end, we got a result, and the claimant is frustrated because it's been going on for so long. They used to be mates, and I think it became now it's a more personal thing than anything else.
2 good friends have lost each other now over money. That's the way life is, isn't it?
You Can't Pay Will Take It Away is back same time next Wednesday. Eamon and Ruth are celebrating a tricky anniversary and are looking for some hot marital tips to avoid the 7-year itch. Brand new tomorrow night at 9, The Saucy Things. Next tonight, those who cheat the system are about to be rumbled in Undercover Benefits Cheat.